Welcome to No Place Like Home, coming to you on Pinellas County Connection TV. The sponsor of the show is the Housing Finance Authority of Pinellas County. The HFA helps first-time homebuyers in Pinellas, Pasco, and Polk counties achieve their dream of home ownership. Working through a specialized group of lenders, the HFA offers a low rate on its 30-year fixed mortgage and helps with down payment closing costs. Please visit our website, www.pinellascounty.org/HFA. On the right-hand side, there's little pictures. The top three are the ones you want to look at for first-time home buyers. For more information or comments about the show, give us a call at 727-223-6419. I'm Carmen Lembert, alongside Julian Hills, your host for today's show. Good morning.
It is March.
I know.
And it's my favorite time of year. Do you know why?
No.
Well, I mean, we had a little bit of, we didn't get the full polar vortex this year, but we got a little bit.
We got
but
enough.
Like when you live in Florida, you know March is when things turn around.
Yes.
And I'm much more of a March through June guy
Are
than
ya?
like a December through
January.
February or so.
Yeah. Well, and this year it was a little colder than I'm used to down here.
Well,
but
you know how that
made
goes.
me think of Colorado, but I don't have Colorado clothes. So.
I definitely don't have Colorado clothes. I am a Florida boy through and through.
It works.
But enough about me. Let's get to the show. We actually have a really fascinating show about something that I'm not great at, so I'm sure I'm going to learn something. We're going to be talking about technology, and we have actually some amazing guests with some really interesting stories. So our first one is Eron Iler. He's the president of Fleetistics, GPS tracking and telematics company based in Wesley Chapel. Eron's amazing story starts in the 1990s. He lost his job, and he and his wife were borrowing money for their parents so they didn't lose their home. They had zero in the bank. Eron started the company in the front room of his house and cold called companies 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. Since then, he's been growing the business and adding new services to provide more value to his fleet customers. About that time, he discovered the Sherp ATV. Having been involved with disaster response, he saw the potential and could see the synergy between Fleetistics marketing and their public safety mobile app he was creating to help in disasters and daily emergencies called Aftermath Data. The Sherp ATV is an amphibious vehicle with huge tires that can go anywhere. The Sherp ATV was wrapped and is used to increase brand awareness for Fleetistics and partners. And then we have Josh Holcombe, who's COO of IG Tech 365. IG Tech 365 provides all types of IT services to small and medium businesses. They help companies keep their computers and services running and safe. They help employees remain productive by leveraging technology such as Office 365, VoIP, CRM, and workstation monitoring to be more efficient. Josh heads up IG Tech 365 and has a cybersecurity background. Good morning. That was a mouthful. Eron and Josh, welcome to the show, and what a great background story. We're talking about the Sherp ATV and how it all ties in with Fleetistics, Aftermath Data, and IG Tech 365. Carmen, take it away.
Good morning, guys. I'm really excited to talk about this, but I want you to tell us a little bit about the Sherp, some of the public safety applications it can be used for, and I think we're going to have some video showing at the same time.
Sure. So the Sherp ATV is an amphibious vehicle. It's a vehicle that's actually designed to operate in Siberia in very cold, soft terrain environments during the warmer months and frozen environments during the winter months. It has very unique capabilities. It's really a super simplistic vehicle, but it's perfectly designed for disaster response, and it fell into our business with GPS tracking and telematics. So we talk to a lot of government agencies and commercial fleets like that may have to operate or respond to major disasters. So it started to make sense that this becomes a good vehicle for us to get our brand out there, but also to have practical applications. If we were to respond in support of a disaster, and it could be local flooding or it could be a wide-scale disaster like we've seen in the last couple of years. So, being amphibious, it has advantages over John boats, over airboats, and things of that nature. And one of the coolest things about the Sherp ATV is you can actually deflate the tires on the fly. So if you need more traction, you let the air out of the tires, and when you want to float more or you want to move faster, you redirect the exhaust off the engine and fills the tires back up, and you can go faster.
Oh my gosh.
So
all on the move.
All on the move, right. And, it's just a simple machine that allows for a lot of different applications. So, it's a very interesting and great tool to get out there and show. And, we were talking before the show about some events charity events that we were supporting earlier this year where, the Tin Can organization that supports PTSD recovery, and there was a young man that had a birthday party who had some medical conditions. We'd been able to take the Sherpa out and, show it off and give some rides and basically just support these different efforts, to help our communities.
And didn't all the proceeds from that go to help pay his medical bills?
That's correct.
Awesome.
Right.
That's so cool.
One feature that I heard about the Sherpa is a fuel storage. Tell me a little bit about that.
Right. So one of the unique aspects of the Sherpa is simply the fuel burn rate, which is 1/2 to 3/4 of a gallon per hour. So when you're talking about disaster response and the lack of fuel, your on station time is really extended. And inside of the wheel hubs are polyethylene tanks that you can add additional fuel. So you can have basically 4 fuel cans in each, one for each tire, which hold about 18 gallons of fuel. The main tank holds about 18 gallons of fuel. So at less than 90 gallons or about 90 gallons, you can actually go 2,500 miles on a single load of fuel. And that's a huge deal if you want to get out and operate for a week straight in some of these areas. You can actually kind of drive across the United States on one load of gas, which is diesel, which is also helpful because a lot of the rescue vehicles use diesel. So it fits into the equation.
And in an emergency, a lot of times gas lines get knocked out. So if you have
Right.
something with fuel that can keep going in those times of crisis, that's pretty amazing.
That's right.
So it's truly an all-terrain vehicle, and it goes everywhere. And I think you already mentioned all of the stuff. I think I also saw videos about it going on ice and water and then back up on the terrain and stuff. But I was thinking for cold weather operations, search and rescue. Now, do you help clients outfit the inside of the Sherpa, or do they just do it for whatever application they want?
It can be either way. Kind of the fun part of getting a Sherpa is being able to add some additional lights or configure the inside. There's configurations available for stretchers, and you've got to add like CB radios and things like that if you want those things. But all of that can be done for you. But usually a customer is going to do that locally with their local shop that may do their lights and sirens on their vehicles already because they're very familiar with the style and the brand and the placement of things like that they would want on a Sherpa for search and rescue.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So I'm curious to know more about the Aftermath Data Public Safety mobile app. Can somebody explain that to me? Or
Sure. So it kind of fits into this whole fleet concept, disaster response, and disaster response is kind of something that I started to get an interest in. I'm a Marine. I've got experience in logistics, and one day I was watching TV, and there was the Cajun Navy that was trying to get into Houston in response, and they were sitting on the side of I-10 kind of looking around for some direction. And I thought, well, how do we help solve that problem? How do we get them engaged in the process of response? And I thought about, well, what technology is available? How can we do it in mass? How can we do it in an inexpensive manner? And, the mobile app concept came to light as everybody's got a phone. They're always on it. And if I can piggyback off of that, I can work to improve the communication between those in need and those that are wanting to help. And it's not just a disaster. People want to help all the time. So whether it be 6 months after an event like that where people just need food or they need clothing or maybe they still have a tree that's on top of their house, the Aftermath Data app is designed to connect that person to the person that has a chainsaw, the person that has time on the weekend, the church that is looking to go into these different areas and provide relief and support. So, the app really provides some very significant advantages in that the number one thing, it puts, the requests and the users on the app itself. So if you're asking me for help, how do I know where to go to help you? If I can look at your location on a map, I can drive straight to your house. If you can tell me exactly what you need, I can show up with the right resources. I don't have to waste a lot of time bringing clothes when you need water, right? Or I don't bring a chainsaw when you need a high water truck, that type of thing. So our goal is to match the right resources to the right needs and do it on a big scale.
Well, and I think one thing, too, I thought that was interesting we were talking about before the show, you were saying how it can automatically notify FEMA, and so that they can also help coordinate their efforts directly and in real time. So can you expand a little bit on that and some of what we were talking about before the show?
Sure, absolutely. So Puerto Rico is a great example, and everybody remembers the story on the news about logistics and the problems they had with logistics. By collecting data through the mobile app, anybody that's an app user can see the data, right? So, if you're sitting in Washington, D.C. at the FEMA headquarters and you're seeing people make requests 1,000 miles away or on the other side of the world, it doesn't matter. You can see the types of requests that are being made and exactly where they're coming from. The most important part is getting the people to install the app and know, hey, I need to turn to that. Social media isn't the platform for disaster response and help requests. You have to be looking at a particular feed, and then if that feed's active, your request is down the page and out of sight and out of mind almost immediately. Where with the mobile app, it's what we do. And not only do we connect people to resources, but we can connect pet rescue, animal rescue, and things like that to the many organizations that are out there to help the animal side of the equation as well.
And still use it also for, like, if my car dies and I just need someone to help come get me. I'm out in the middle of nowhere, my car's dead, and at least I can maybe get something out on the app and someone can come and help me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Tampa Bay is a great example. And if you're out boating, we hear these stories about the kids get lost or a kayak that flips over. If we're on the app and everybody's using it as a community and something goes wrong, we have a place to look at because it tracks your last known location on the app. So family could look and see where you were last reporting from. If you're in the water and you're within cell phone coverage, hang on to your phone because somebody has the potential just to drive up to you. I know when I had a boat and I drained the battery on it, cost me $350 to get a jump. With the mobile app, I could have just asked for somebody in the area, and we're about to launch a notification service. So if you're within a certain radius and the help request goes off, it'll pop up on your phone and just tell you. If I'm in the area, I'm just going to go over and help somebody. And that's what we're trying to do is connect everyday help requests to this, people. But also if you have an emergency, obviously we want you to call 911 first, but sometimes emergency help is the guy next door or a block over. I'm a doctor in my neighborhood and I see an emergency help request. I can get there way before the ambulance can. Again, call 911 first, but if this is a stroke or a heart attack or something like that, and I can somehow mitigate that as a medical professional, we can save lives doing this kind of thing.
Wow. So, Josh, how do you fit into all this? You provide support for all of this?
So IG Tech does. The other thing that we do is we've been starting to provide cellular backup services and some of the Iridium technology. So when we're going out, the SHRP also, in addition to just being a way to get to people, they also have a trailer that has the big tires as well. And we can set one of those up so that you can get a cellular connection, okay, and broadcast Wi-Fi, right? Wow. So if you're at base camp and there's no way to get a connection, or maybe even bouncing it off a satellite with an Iridium technology and providing that modem and a way to get connected and stay connected and be able to communicate with people that are in need. Maybe you need your Aftermath app at that point, or maybe it's just communicating with government response teams, right? So, and that's how IG Tech kind of fits into that picture.
What you don't realize in a disaster, there's accountability for resources and time and people getting paid and things like that. And having a cloud-based IT infrastructure allows people in the field, once they get that hotspot, now they can do the administrative side of things. It's not all about delivering clothes. When the government gets involved, they have regulations and processes they have to follow, and they have to be able to get to that stuff. So that cloud-based IT infrastructure is a huge part of managing the background logistics that we never see or talk about, in typical civilian response.
Yeah.
That is amazing. So what's the website people can go to for more information about all this technology we talked about, or, a phone number that they can get in touch with you if people are interested in adopting some of this technology?
Sure. So the aftermathdata.com website kind of explains more. You can just download the Aftermath Data app from either app store. That's the easiest way. Just join. Become a user, get in there and play. It gives you a little tutorial when you first launch the app, and become part of the community, because without community support and the more users we have, the stronger the response. And that's really been the primary challenge, is getting the word out and people on the app so we become stronger and it kind of takes off on its own. But igtech365.com for IT services for small to medium businesses. And then, if you're interested in GPS tracking and telematics, the easiest one to remember is 4agps.com, the number 4, the letter A, GPS.com, and that will get you straight to Fleetistics, which is a little bit harder to spell.
There we go.
Yes, imagine me, who struggles sometimes trying to read that, but it's all good, and this was amazing information, and it went by so fast. That's it for today's show.
Wow.
That was a lot to get into this short amount of time, but it was all really helpful information, and I hope this will help get the awareness out about all this great life-saving technology. So I'd like to thank our guest today, Eron Iler with Fleetistics, Aftermath Data, and Sherp ATV, Josh Holcombe with IG Tech 365. We look forward to having you join us next month. If you missed any part of the show or would like to view past shows, check out our website or catch us on YouTube. Carmen.
Julian.
I'm Julian Hills, and you're. Thanks for joining us. Remember to make it a great day.